If you've watched the first part of this series, you may be under the false impression that I'm finished discussing the incompetent storytelling in HSR. But no, not even close. What we just went over is a symptom, but not the problem. I theorize that the low effort storytelling is intentional in order for Hoyoverse to further expand its market dominance in the space. I'm not the first to posit this theory, but it goes a little something like this. Hoyoverse has many mainline gacha games at this point, but its most successful are Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Zenless Zone Zero. Genshin is your open world, non-stressful baby game. The combat is floaty, but fun. The story isn't bad, but the storytelling, more times than not, is downright atrocious. My evidence of this? The Aranara quest. I rest my case. Then HSR comes out. All of a sudden, the game gets all the endgame that Genshin Impact players were wanting. You want more resin? HSR got it. Want to farm anytime you want? We got that too. Want to finally be able to reroll your relics? Control your main stats and substats? Well, we have that too. All these things that Genshin Impact players wanted, conveniently packed into a turn-based game. No Paimon, no drawing out dailies, revisiting of old events so that you're not missing important context, better free rewards, all of this by design. The story, while it is good, keeps getting dragged down because of insane dialogue bloat, characters just standing in a circle with static camera angles, and constantly having black screens in order to save time on animation. The animations we do get are not only short, but barely make up 5% of the runtime of the story. Then ZZZ comes out. Would you look at that? We suddenly have an interesting story, but with actually entertaining storytelling. We have longer animations, we have some comic style strips to enhance the experience, we have more instances of dynamic interactions between characters. The gameplay is a little bit sharper than what we're used to. We got combos, parrying, perfect dodging, and I almost forgot about the Gunnar character design. While Genshin and HSR are locked to the same character models, ZZZ went out of his way to make a thick mouse girl, police girl, and a pyromaniac. They seem to have much more creative freedom in character design than the former two games. If you don't get the point I'm making, I'm suggesting that Hoyoverse is intentionally allowing their games to be incomplete so they can add missing QOLs and even better storytelling to their other games. You might think that would be bad because they're cannibalizing their own games, but no, it's actually nefariously genius. If you decide that you don't want to deal with the Genshin baby game, you can go and play HSR. That's exactly what I did, and I never went back. If you don't want to deal with the meta focus on HSR and the power creep, you can go play ZZZ. I'm sure you can see the problem. No matter what, Hoyoverse has you playing one of their games. The best part? They can further expand their market by doing this because each one of their games steps on the toes of their competitors as well. While I do see what's going on and I have a small understanding of the vision, from my perspective, this is arrogance and complacency from Hoyoverse, even though I'm sure that their plan is very clever to them. HSR, as an example, could get much better storytelling and more animations with a snap of the waist fingers, but that's not going to happen because they're greedy. Instead of taking their existing product and revolutionizing it to its full potential, they're using the same storytelling tactics, or arguably worse storytelling tactics, than they were using in Honkai Impact 3rd nearly a decade ago. Right now, their tactics are working and it's making them a lot of money. However, other developers are naturally watching what Hoyoverse is doing and are plotting. There are a lot of games that are coming out that threaten Hoyoverse's dominance. Wuthering Waves is already out and is on its way up. It's already improving in ways that Genshin and HSR refuse to for the sake of its storytelling. One of the games I'm looking forward to the most is Ananta, and it looks really good. To be honest, I hope that all these new gacha games continue to directly eat into Hoyoverse's market share. Why? because that's the only way that they'll change when they lose money. If HSR players think that HP inflation and power creep are the things that will single-handedly cook the community of players in this game, I have something to tell you. What will cook this game is this dumb-ass development model that Hoyoverse has constructed. If players are already onto these tactics, it's only a matter of time before other developers are intentionally copying all of Hoyo's mainline games, taking the feedback that we've provided to Hoyoverse for years, and then make 2.0s of all those games. Hoyoverse better wake up and realize that all good things must come to an end. If they don't start investing the billions they've made off their predatory practices to give players a complete experience in all of their games instead of working on a new one, another developer will come along and do it for them. It may not happen today. It may not happen 3 years from now, but it will happen. Prioritizing short-term gains over the long-term satisfaction of your customers is moronic, and it will backfire. You may be under the impression that I have not read the 3.0 developer radio. I have, and I am not impressed. I had this script written weeks ago and waited until I saw the most recent HSR livestream before dropping this, just in case I criticized the devs for something that they already addressed. The radio, the livestream, they don't do nearly enough to address the concerns of the players, and it is not enough to get the players who have already quit to come back to the game. All you have for the players is that you're going to reduce the amount of enemies and make puzzles optional. That is only a fraction of the issue. Why is there no discussion about an improvement to storytelling production as an example? More animations, more expressive body language and faces from the characters, an outright reduction in the amount of exposition so that you don't need to add a skip button? That's what I and many other players were hoping was going to be addressed. Now the alarm bells are blaring even louder because 3.1 might end up being the exact same boring yapfest as 3.0. Hoyoverse is a billion-dollar company. If players keep allowing them to get away with the bare minimum to appease us, HSR will end up just like Genshin, and I'm sure that most of us do not want that to happen. The developers have lost a lot of goodwill with the players and are going to have to earn it back. If they fumble improvements to storytelling, buffing of old units, and even worse, the new collab that's coming up, that might be the final straw for some players. And they will find a non-Hoyoverse game to sink their time into. I do appreciate the game that the developers have made and has allowed me to remain free to play to this very day. But I'm not going to continue to settle for mediocrity. Hoyo can either go all in, or their most loyal players are out.